So, by popular demand, we're going to have a look at my drum mix from Layla, which is a 1 mic recording. I'm going to mute everything, and I'm going to turn off the processing for now.
There's quite a bit of it.
So we can hear the drums in the raw state, and L2 won't be touching them. No. So this was the recorded drum sound. It's perfectly fine. It lacked the immediacy and upfrontness I was looking for. So that's what I went after. But there is one problem with them, or problem. There's one challenge with them. It's not a problem. It just required a bit of work. Because if we just take this and start EQing, let's say a little more oomph on the snare. We hear there's a room mode. Just. So just boosting there wasn't really an option when you start compressing it, because it brought out that room mode a lot and the kick started sounding very not good. So a lot of the drum mix was to find a solution to that, among other things, and also get the drums to really feel like they were in your face the whole time. So I started with a bit of Q3. Nothing remarkable here. Just a little bit, and this one is automated, which we're gonna see when we play back. So I'm just boosting when the snare hits here. And then I'm managing the top end in the verses, which we're going to see now. So that open hi-hat I'm turning down a bit because it got very loud. So that's what I'm doing EQ-wise, and that goes on throughout the whole song. There's a lot of automation points here. Fortunately, you can copy, so a cumbersome handling of Reaper's interface. I'm not that used to it, but as a DAW it works fine. I'm just not super familiar with it. So after that EQ, I got an Waves R compressor doing a tiny little bit. Just bringing out a little bit more of the attack. Then I have got Fabfilter Saturn. Warm tape, doing nothing with the dynamics. Just a little bit of drive here, more drive here, and very much drive here. Just smashing the top end, and it gives a nice crunch to it. Then I wanted even more attack on the drums, so I added the Native Instruments Transient Master. And that does a lot. Then I sent this to an Waves Abbey Road Chambers. Used a preset that I modified slightly, and this adds Then I duplicated the channel and made a sub. And this one just has sub information. And on this one, it's leaping root 1, just adding a little bit of low end. A Q3, high and low passing. So I'm just getting the... This filtering also puts it out of phase of the original track, which I'll deal with later. I got a compressor crushing it, so I have an even level of the low end, no matter how, because it varies a little bit, and when you do this drastic compression, that gets audible very quickly. So I'm making sure it just sits in its spot. Then a bit of Saturn, not that much. Then I'm gating it to control the decay of the low end, so it's an even boom, boom, and not goes bop, boom, bop, boom. And then some expansion here, just getting a little bit of a push in the low end. And then I'm having a sample delay at the end, just to bring it in phase with the low end in the original track again. So altogether, this sounds... And this gets sent to a drum bus. At first I got a bit of EQ, and here I'm pushing the snare a little bit more. I have the frequency set slightly below what the actual center for the snare is, to make it feel even deeper. And I'm taking out a little bit of kick there to make some more room for the bass. You see we have it pokes out here once in a while from the hi-hats or something. So I just did a little dip there. Then it gets saturated in true iron. I have true iron on all my buses, so to get sort of the same effect you get when bussing in a console with a lot of transformers. Then I got an UAD Pultec, just shaping the low end and boosting a little bit of top end, a bit of boom and fizz. Then we have Kush Audio Silica, and this one does a lot. This is pretty much the drum sound. It of course gets hard to compare when there's such a huge level difference. But it adds a lot of saturation and also a smack and immediacy, and bring the drums forward in the mix. Then a bit of Fabfilter Pro multiband, just controlling different aspects of it. This band is disabled. It used to be sidechained to the vocal, so it brought the mids down when the vocal was singing. It turned out it didn't need that, so... Or at least I thought it didn't need that, so I disabled it. And I have slow attack on this, so this is just also adding even more smack to everything. Then a bit of Waves J37. does something nice to it. And then we have Soothe. The drum bus together with everything else gets sent to my music bus. No. A bit of more air here. The UAD SSL bus compressor. And then I got Softube tape. Then it gets sent to the master bus where I have Kush Audio AR1. The tube saturation in that brings the mids up and creates a great presence. We can see if we can level match. I think it's here somewhere. Yeah. I just hope I remember where I was, or maybe we can use undo. That we couldn't. Oh well. Just won't save this. So that's the drums, and by themselves they sound a bit shit actually. But in context they work really well, at least to my mind. So if we play it in context here. And I'm automating a lot of parameters on this one. I've got volume and panning on most everything automated between verses, choruses, bringing up small things. The rest of the processing isn't nothing really special. We can check. We actually mute everything. So this is the drums with the without the guitars, the bass sounds hilarious. It sounds drunk, if that's a thing. I love it. And then the keys that I felt was really fun to put a really big chorus on them. That made the keys just into this nice big fat warming things that filled out the harmonic spectrum. Great. And of course, just to have some fun with it at the end, as people noted, I automate the level of the chorus up. Just because it made myself laugh. And that's a reason as good as any. Not that much going on the bass. You can check that out quickly. I have one channel where I've just erased the high end and just lose the low end that I'm crushing in. Or not crushing. That was actually quite sensible of me. It's usually they meet in the middle somewhere, these two. And then I'm compressing the duplicate, the amp. So the DI I'm using the low end from, the amp I'm using this processor. A little bit of presence bumps here. It then gets those two then get sent to the bass bus, and here bass bus, and here we have a bit of automation going on. There's a weird thing going on here because I had a change of heart, and instead of changing this one that's automated, and I just added another band to keep it where I wanted it. We can check what that one does by moving here. I'm lowering the 70, 80 Hz area, and then we get to the chorus, it comes back in. Also had an even more boost around 700. Then I got Softube Summit Audio. Keeping it in place. There's a bit of true iron. I'm using the Siemens transformer emulation here and a bit of Waves J37. On the keys bus I do nothing, and on the keys themselves before I added the brigade chorus here at the end, I tried to get something that worked for me in the mix. I never managed that really. So a bit of McDSP compression. Some McDSP EQ, just adding some high end there. Soothe. Saturn. Same thing. Now I had a nice and big key sound, but it started to mess with everything else, so I added, oops, this. And we got something I felt fit the mix very well. The keys get sent to a Valhalla delay, just adding a little bit more stereo and room to it. Then we get to the acoustics. I think we're going to start at the start now. So if we just solo. They append to each side using automation. That's why the pan pots here are centered. I'm cutting out some mud, making some room for the electric guitars, and then I'm doing a big presence boost. Then I'm using the Fabfilter Pro multiband as a de-esser sort of thing, but I like this because I get super fast attack. And if we remove them on both of these, so what the MB removes is pretty much only pick noise and initial string noise. Then I'm using the UAD distressor to quite gentle compression, really, and then we have a bit of presence from the Soundtoy CQ, which I love. Boring acoustics, fantastic acoustics. That's the difference. That plugin has something special. It gets sent to an Abbey Road chamber, just adding a tiny bit of room to the sound. Then we have the highs that combine with these when we get into the